How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Perfect Reload. My name is Steve, and we are here with the brand new Forza Motorsport. It's out today, the day that I am playing. Out yesterday for you, those of you watching on the Xbox platforms and PC. This is the PC version, and having some weird issues with the PC version. So earlier today, I played the Xbox version and got through this introduction portion here, this Builders Cup intro series, and I figured, well, instead of lugging the Xbox into the office, I'll just hop onto the PC version. My save will be right there, and the colors seem weird. I'll see what it looks like when I actually export this video, but if I'm looking at my monitor in front of me, it's pretty vibrant, and I'm looking at the OBS feed, it looks very dull, and I don't exactly know why that is. I've never seen that before in all the many hours I have captured footage, so hopefully it doesn't look weird, but hey, if it does, maybe that's a weird thing with the game, maybe that's a weird thing with OBS. We'll leave it in, I guess. I don't really know what to do to fix it, but that's kind of where I am at with this PC version so far. But yeah, I figured we would just kind of hop in. They, once you get through this introduction, during the introduction, they give you your choice of 3 different cars. I believe it is a Subaru, a Honda Civic, and a Ford Mustang. I chose the Mustang. I learned how to drive in a Mustang, so I have, somewhat of an attachment to Mustangs. This is not, racing games for the most part do not, I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, I can drive my car in a racing game. My car is never in a racing game, and even if it was, I wouldn't want to play with it. But I figured we would hop in here. I haven't messed with any of this stuff yet. They have this Modern Tour Enthusiast Power Tuner. Oh, a Pony Car Showdown. Legacy Tour, got the hot hatches, all that stuff. Maybe your Testarossas in there, open class, but it looks like we have all these locked except for this practical performance. So basically, you're lugging the kids around to various practices. And then there's this track tour. We have that. But why don't we try this? We'll try this practical performance Laguna Seca legendary course. I don't know if they're going to force us to use a different car or not, or if I can use the Mustang that I have unlocked. It looks like I am going to have to choose one of these hatchbacks. I'm liking this so far. I've talked about this a little bit, either on the show or in previous videos. Wow, that is some weird glitchy effects going on. I have DLSS turned on. I don't know if maybe I should have turned that off. I didn't see an option for like ray tracing in the thing. Wow, that looks terrible. It looks slightly better in the OBS feed, but man, when I'm looking at it, that looks like garbage. But the gameplay is fine. I know that they've probably changed a lot in the Forza games. This feels exactly like the last Forza game that I played, at least the traditional Motorsport series. I'm more of a Horizon fan. I used to be really into like these very sim heavy racing games, but that time has kind of passed. I'm big into the more arcadey style stuff. Let's see, we got an Audi R3, Ford Focus. I am a Ford person. I drive a Ford. My whole family, for the most part, drove or drives Ford. So I am impartial to Ford. Ooh, there's a Mini in here. I always like the look of the Minis. Let's go with the Audi and mess around with that. Toggle card. Okay, just some stats and all that stuff. View car. Here we go. This is where they get you. Yeah. Look at those lines. Oh. God, this looks like garbage. I'm gonna have to go into the options and see what's going on. Can we pop the hatch? Pop my hatch. Pop my hatch. Oh yeah. Oh God, that there are people just exploding right now at this footage. Just cannot keep it in. Yeah, we'll buy it. That's how I buy all my cars. I just open the side door and I'm like, yep, that's good. Wow, 2 shades of white, 2 shades of gray and red. Guess we'll go with the silverish. It's fine. The hell? Oh, all right. Let's see if we can. No, I'm not gonna do that. There's nothing to upgrade. We just bought the car, so. You get so far, like at least through that opening tutorial thing, like you got upgrades after every race. There's a kind of two different methods of upgrading your car in this game. You can either go in and tune all of it yourself, apply parts, all that, or they just have like an auto apply, like give me the best options of what I have in my inventory for the most part. I'm gonna see once we get into this race if I can go into the video settings, because this is looking rough. Let's see, basic video. Oh, they turned my DLSS off. Maybe that had something to do with it. That could definitely have something to do with it. And then let's go to advanced video. Okay, all of this got reset to default. Let's turn that down to high just in case. Actually, you know what? Why don't we just turn it to auto? The showcase of the graphics of this game aren't going to come across in 1080p compressed through YouTube anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I will say when you're playing on the Xbox, you do have like two ray tracing modes in like a performance mode. I have it on the 60 frames a second variable refresh rate mode. At least that's what it said. It said VRR, and that looks good. I mean, it looks quite nice. I'm not one of those people that goes, bananas over the way that cars look in a video game. This actually, maybe it's just because I'm playing it. I mean, this is the monitor I'm playing on, which is my main monitor. This is definitely not made for gaming, really. So it doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles. This looks markedly worse than the Xbox television experience, but it does look fine. And yeah, the colors are super dull and diluted on the OBS field. I hope it's not the case. I tried messing around with some settings to make it not be like that, but I don't know, sorry about that. Maybe, I don't know if that's a widespread thing or just an OBS thing or what's up. Yeah, I think this looks very nice on the Xbox. I had no complaints. I'm also not sitting there nitpicking puddles and reflections in windshields and the gloss of the paint and all that stuff. I just want to play the game. I don't get super into those details. It just doesn't interest me all that much. I'm more concerned with the racing games. Just how does it play? Like how is it performing? Am I enjoying myself with it? So far, I have enjoyed myself with it. It's actually kind of nice to be away from that Mustang, just because if you've never been in a Mustang, they are a heavy car and they handle like a boat a lot of the time. Yeah, the rewind mechanic is still in here. I probably played like 30 minutes of the last Forza game, which was what, 7. So I could not tell you what has really changed. I know that like the leveling up system is different here. You're leveling up cars. They're telling you it's not so much with this game about getting as many cars in your livery as possible. It is more about finding that one car that works for you, or a kind of the small group of cars that works across multiple events where there are restrictions on what vehicle you can use, and kind of leveling those up. You'll see in the upper right hand corner of the screen next to the lap marker, it shows the car level, and you are constantly earning XP. One of the things that I like a lot is in this practice, you're doing like 3 laps of practice to learn the track, is you're earning XP. Like right there, I beat that target lap time, so I got XP for that. You're not just getting XP in the actual races. And this thing down at the bottom, the Andretti hairpin, so they have like signature portions of the track where you're trying to hit certain target times on there. And it's a really small thing, but it goes a long way to provide more incentive while you're playing. Because let's be honest, a lot of the times with these games, until you really kind of get your footing under you and you tune your difficulty and all that, you're going to end up probably on the second to last lap or the last lap in first place and so far ahead that it would take utter catastrophe for everybody else to catch up, right? So it gets a little boring because you're not interacting with the other cars. You're not trying to jockey for position. So I think adding these little signature portions of the track to hit those time targets on just gives you a little bit more to do while you're playing. And, you know, this game is very much, I would say this game is very influenced by Call of Duty, in the sense that as I was playing earlier during that thing, I was pretty much leveling up nonstop in some way or another. I was constantly earning XP. I was constantly being presented with progress, like tracking my progress on how I was doing. And I think that that's a really smart thing for a racing game to have, because let's be honest, a sim racing game, actually let's show you the rewind thing. A sim racing game at times can be very bland. It can be very dull. That's just the way it is. So I think by having those little extra things goes a long way with the overall presentation. And it rides a fine line because they want to project a certain image with a sim racing game versus an arcade style racing game. Like, think about how in your face the Horizon games are, or for more maybe modern contemporary, the Crew that just came out a month or two ago. You know, very much in your face, like blaring music and all that. And there's no music that I can hear audibly right now. I will be honest, when I was playing the game earlier today, I was playing on mute. I needed to catch up on some podcasts, but you know, it's such a subdued experience that having those little extra hits of presentation just really helps out. I'd like to see, I don't know, I always think that, and it's not just Forza that does this, Gran Turismo does it as well. Some of the PC focused sim racing games like Project Cars, which that came out on console as well, I think. They always had this very clean, minimalist, modern kind of style for all their typefaces and the way things look on the screen. And I'd really like to see, I don't give a shit, it's practice. I'd like to see people get away from that a little bit, you know, like we can ride the line. We don't need in your face, you know, MTV in the late 90s, but we also don't need this to look antiseptic either. I think that there's definitely a balance you can find. But overall, this feels good. You know, I'm not the greatest at racing in a super realistic way. I will just plow into cars, as you can see. And you do get penalized, where you can see that penalty popped up on the left-hand side there. But again, we are in practice, so ultimately it doesn't really matter. All right, so practice is now done, and we're going to go into the actual race. Man, we dinged the shit out of the side of that car. We're gonna have to get that suction cup thing and pull all those dents out. But I think that this is, it's a strong product so far in the limited amount of time I've had with it. I'm gonna have to dig more into it. I do like this, that you can make things more difficult for you by going back down. Yeah, we'll start towards the back. I found that if I don't do this and put myself towards the back, I am in first like halfway, half the amount of the race, and it just gets a little boring. You can see the other racers, see their cars, see what their best lap times were, all that good stuff. Fuel and tire. I have not had to mess with fuel. These are, you know, 4-lap races. I don't know if there's like endurance races in here or anything like that, where fuel would really come into play, or maybe if you were setting up like a custom race and doing like 100 laps of a circuit track or something like that, maybe you would need to do that. All right, here we go. We are off. In terms of the racetracks, during the tutorial, there's only a handful of racetracks. There is one in Japan, which is very nice looking. Some nice scenery on the outside. You know, we're gonna say because a deserty experience. They started off with it's like Maple Valley, which is fine. But the Japanese track, you know, there's like cherry blossoms going around and all that stuff. They don't go full on like here's just a bunch of neon. But you can tell that it's definitely, you know, inspired by all that. I'm not sure if it's a real track or not. I know at one point there were both real, like Laguna Seca that were on here, this is a real track. But I know at some point there were real tracks and fictional tracks. I don't know if that's still the case in this game, and I don't keep up with the world of international racing, you know, to the point where I could rattle off a bunch of courses and tracks and all that to tell you what's real and what's not. But you know, if there was a mix of fictional and real tracks, you know, in that tutorial section, you didn't, you know, you don't really notice it. Everything blended seamlessly together. Nothing seemed, you know, unrealistic to some weird degree or anything like that. Just pass everybody on the street. I mean, this is how I drive in real life, right? I just knock people out of my way. Make way, I'm a motorist. But you can see, you know, where that XP thing is kind of just ticking off on the right-hand side. You know, overtook a couple of cars, got some XP for that. We're gonna pass this car momentarily. You'll see that segment score popped up. Just bully this car out of the way. On the left there, you can see you can go into the pits if you need to. In a 4-lap race, I don't really see the reason why that would be necessary, but you know, like I said, if you're playing a longer track, more laps, whatever it may be. I think this is a good time for this game to come out. It seems like the crew did not do great as the kind of big arcadey racing title on the market this year. I saw this morning that they are now marking that game down already by 20%. And you know, the last Gran Turismo didn't really light the world on fire. You know, obviously this is a Game Pass title, so a lot more people than usual are going to be picking it up. So I think it has the opportunity to kind of stand out in a very crowded October. There's a lot coming out this month. I mean, I knew that October 20th wasn't that far away, but it wasn't until I looked at a calendar and noticed it's like, oh, it's next Friday when, you know, the new Mario and the new Spider-Man is coming out. I think this is a solid for Microsoft, you know, between this and Starfield, just a couple of months apart. I mean, technically, Starfield came on the last day of August. This is coming out pretty early October, so not that far apart. But that's a pretty good 1-2 punch to end the year for Xbox. And for Game Pass in particular, you know, that's 2 really big titles on Game Pass. And then Game Pass also just got Cocoon, which is a smaller indie title that is getting pretty well. It's been well received by, you know, the gaming media that I follow. So I think it's you know, it's a good time to be in the Game Pass ecosystem with all the stuff they have coming out. I think Xbox this is probably their strongest year in quite some time, and I think for them, I would imagine having a brand new IP do really well in Starfield, but then also have some pretty decent hype and excitement around a tried and true IP in Forza, I think is good for them. You know, a lot of their big heavy hitters, Gears of War, Halo, you know, they've kind of been on ice for a little bit. I really thought we were gonna hear about a new Gears of War this summer. Just didn't happen. Maybe next year. Halo, they're still trying to find their footing. I think I saw it today. Maybe it was yesterday. There was an article that came out that was like talking about new maps for Halo Infinite. I haven't played that game since like the month it came out, maybe even the first 2 weeks it came out. But this is a strong showing at the end of the year for Xbox heading into the holiday season. You know, there's probably be a fair amount of kids getting Xboxes for Christmas. Boy, you give them a Game Pass subscription and they got a great racing game right off the bat, great RPG, you know, a whole bunch of other stuff to go along with it. I mean, it's gonna make a lot of happy customers out there. I don't know if this game is necessarily a game that's gonna sell Game Pass subscriptions. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a niche audience that it does. They've just been waiting for this, you know, since the Series X came out, and this will be their time to pull the trigger on the system, pick up a Game Pass subscription. But for the large majority of people, I don't think it's a big, I hate to use the term needle mover because it's become such a, I don't know, it's just, it's become overused, but I mean, when you're talking business, yes, you are kind of talking about, you know, how are things looking for us. I do really like the fact that I am struggling to get to the front of the pack here, although I am kind of bulldozing my way into it. Now I'm in 4th place. When I was playing that intro thing with that Mustang, I won every race, and that was starting from you know, pretty much the tail end of the pack. So it's nice to have a little bit of challenge here, where it's like, hey, am I actually gonna get this thing at the end, or you know, what's gonna happen here? I think the car's in front of me, except for maybe this guy here. It might be a little bit untouchable. That 1st place car is pretty far out there from us. We have to become a little bit more aggressive with these turns if we want to make up some ground. Also, with that glare on the pavement, seeing that driving line when it's yellow is a little tough. One thing I guess I will touch upon, speaking of the driving line, lots of accessibility options in this game, a lot of them. You can have like full-on screen narration, change the size of subtitles. It looked like there's some colorblind stuff in there. Lots of versions of driving assists. You can have the game brake for you if you want. They definitely seem like they've done a pretty solid job of accessibility stuff. You know, as somebody who I do use some accessibility stuff at times, especially for like subtitle size. You know, my vision's not great, and you know how good, or no matter how good my glasses keep getting, you know, it gets hard to read very tiny text, especially on a TV that's, you know, a dozen feet away from you. So it's nice to have that, because man, it's like I don't know what I'm looking at. I can't read these words. There we go. Knock him out of the way. We just like pit maneuver him and win. We're just like a drag race to the end. Yeah. There we go. We did it. Finish first. Go us. Team 2011 hatchback. All right. This pretty much plays out the same way at the end so far for me. Every time I have finished a race, you know, you get the look at the 3 cars that came in first, because of course you need to look at them so you can slobber all over them. And then you get, you know, your gravitars. Is that what drivatars? Can't remember what they call them these days. I'm the one in green, obviously, because I won. Smoke bombs going off in the background. Some weird purple lighting for no reason that just disappeared. This PC version is getting a little out there. Got some sweet rims. Some wide tires. Oh, yeah. Oh, give me my rim size. Oh, make me anti-sway, daddy. Oh, I just want to stick a microphone into that exhaust. Straddle the subwoofer. Those people exist. It's not just me. Imagine there's a large crossover between feet people and race car video game people. Because tires are just the feet of a car, right? Nobody's gonna look at you weird for looking at a tire. Lime Rock Park, all right. I think we'll do at least one more race. You know, this gives you an idea of what the game is. You know, it's nothing insane. It's nothing crazy. It's, you know, it's more Forza. It's a sim racing game. It's not reinventing the wheel in any meaningful way that I have detected so far. Although I do dig some of those changes, the constant leveling up, the constant feedback you're getting. I like the incentive to really get good at one singular car, and obviously with their career mode, you know, they're gonna give you that variety to try out different vehicles and see what you like and see what works best for you. And I kind of like the idea of having like a small roster of cars you're kind of switching back and forth between. Like with Horizon, the last Horizon, you know, I ended up unlocking dozens and dozens and dozens of cars. I only used like 2. You know, it's one of those things where it's just like at some point, when does it just become like, oh yeah, I'm just unlocking these for the sake of unlocking them. I'm just unlocking them because I'm progressing naturally through the game. You know, I'm really only using these 2 cars because they're what works best for me. You know, you can still have that collectible aspect to it, and certainly they do in this game. This game is, we didn't really look at it because there's no need to, but this game is microtransaction to hell. The first time I booted up the game, they asked me if I wanted to spend like $30 on like a car download, and then they're like, okay, you don't want to spend $30? How can we get at least 5 from you for the welcome pack? And I hit the welcome pack because I was like, oh, maybe because I'm playing on day 1, you know, they're giving me some free stuff. It was like, nope, give me $5. Put the $5 into your Xbox disk drive slot, and we will get you 3 Honda Civics. I'm pretty sure that's how much Honda Civics go for in the real world. Spent a lot of time in my life driving a Honda Civic. After I got my license, you know, before I got my own car, if I had to drive, it was always go drive your mother's car, don't drive mine. So I drove my mom's Honda Civic quite a bit. And then when that Honda Civic went away, my dad had no choice but to let me drive his car because my mother's new car, I could not sit in it. I was too tall. My head, at one point I literally had to open the sunroof in the car because my head was too tall for that car. It was very uncomfortable. I like this course. This is a pretty nice, simple, easy course. There was one during the tutorial section that had some brutal turns in it. And actually, you know, it felt pretty good. Like once you got down to like the final couple of laps where you really had a handle on how to pull them off. You know, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's pretty good. Like I'm learning. Just get out of my way. Just go. You're gonna pit maneuver me, I'll pit maneuver you. Throw out my spike strips. And speaking of that, we need you know, they're bringing back, you know, the sim style stuff with the new Gran Turismo, the new Forza, and Forza Horizon's kind of got the arcade stuff kind of on lockdown for the time being. When are we gonna get more car combat? I mean, really, it's only Mario Kart. That's about it. Nothing else has really hit off. I know they have that Disney one. There's that Crash Bandicoot one. And then, you know, just where's the new Twisted Metal? Where's the new? Give me the new Split Second. The new Blur. I need some of that stuff. All right, finish the practice. I need the ability to like throw out those. What were those things on the beaches of Normandy? They were like the big metal, they looked like jacks, like a ball and jacks. I think they were like to stop boats from coming onto the ground or something. I want to be able to like pop the trunk and just toss a couple of those out there. Where's that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson Spy Hunter movie that we were supposed to get? They made the game. The game came out. Where's my Spy Hunter? I played a lot of Spy Hunter when I was a kid. I excelled at leaking oil onto the roads. This nerd in his Polaroid car. Where's my sponsors? Tell me I can't put some bumper stickers on this car? That guy's all painted up over there next to me. Where are the big titty anime lady skins? Where are all those? I'm gonna need some of those. Replace my my horn with one of those boob mouse pads. Then when I hit the horn, it's just Hatsune Miku moaning. Just like in the Fast and Furious movies, you know, we gotta reduce weight, you know, take out the back seat. I had to reduce weight. Oh man, did you remove the back seat? I had to finally get rid of all those anime DVDs in my trunk. cops were getting on to me. Told me I couldn't see my son at school anymore. Not until I got rid of all my copies of, I don't know what the hell's popular. Darling Franks. Is that's still a thing, right? Darling in the Franks. I'd watch that just because I like the word Franks. Pretty sure I've just been doing nothing but illegal things in this race. Just passing everybody on the shoulder. Remember when I was a child, my strategy in racing games was as soon as you got control of the vehicle, you would just slam it sideways to crash into every other car to prevent them from being able to catch up. And then you would eventually catch up. But then the rubber banding was so bad that everybody would catch up. And I remember for a good long while, the only way I played the NASCAR video games was they would start, the race would start, I would hit the brakes, and then I would spin the car around backwards and just race around the track doing head-on collisions. I never actually finished any races. I would just smash head first in the cars, and I would do this over and over and over again. And then for some reasons unrelated to that, my parents got me tested at the school. But those were good times. NASCAR 98 only had one song on the soundtrack, and it was Flirting with Disaster by Molly Hatchet. It's all you needed back then. You didn't need all this extra music. I mean, this game doesn't have any music. Then there was some like weird light piano jazz playing in the menus. Just get me a mod that just puts Flirting with Disaster in here. Let me drive around backwards, crash into all the cars. That's all I need. I assume Daytona's probably in this game. I know it's been in Forza pasts. So just let me get on Daytona, put a 6-pack in the passenger seat, and let me just go. Smash up all that learning in my head. Just get it right out. I don't need that. My brain is exactly like Hank from Corner Gases. It's just a series of file cabinets full of lyrics to 80 pop songs. Or 80s pop songs. I don't need to know anything else. I don't need to know how to cook food. I have directions written down in my phone. I know it sounds like I'm joking around, but that's actually true. I have a document in my phone that I made that's just like type of meat and what temperature to cook it at because I cannot fucking remember and I will poison myself. Call it the meatloaf files.
3 remaining.
Thank you. We gotta win this thing. We gotta take out this Polaroid car. I don't know if that's still in first place or not, but we're getting up there. I would imagine, I'm certainly going to play more of this game in my personal time, because I just want to play more of it. But this is going to 100% be a game I'm playing on mute. This will be me with a pillow in my lap, with my phone propped up on it, just playing episodes of Frasier in The Office while I spin this car around the track. That's all I need. I wish I had more to talk about. There's just, you get to the point with these games where it's just like, I don't have that much unlocked. You can kind of put 2 and 2 together in your brain of what's going to happen when I finish this race. I'm going to unlock the next race. I was a little surprised when we got into this earlier in the video. That was like the only thing I could really do was this. And it's just like, all right, I guess I'll go through it in order. It'd be kind of nice to like at least have access to the first event in each one of those different, I'm not sure what they're calling them. Maybe they are calling them events? Maybe that actually is what they're calling them, the first series of races in each event? I don't know. I'm not up on my Forza nomenclature. But when we finish this race, I will back out because I think there was that other menu that had some races we could do that maybe had some more exciting cars. And then they'll probably be give you a good overview of what this game is all about here. Got these nice pine trees off to the side. You know, those are decently rendered, I guess. They're only a little blurry. Yeah, we passed a Polaroid car. Fuck you.
Final lap.
Instagram destroyed your business. I definitely don't watch as much racing as I used to. When I was growing up, racing was always on. You know, my dad and I would watch the NASCAR events, and you know, I watched like the Indy 500, and I watched a little bit of F1 for a while. Probably spent a year or two watching F1. I don't know, maybe like a decade ago or more. And now F1 is like super popular. I was actually in, was it Toronto? I was in a major city at one point, and a lot of the city was shut down because they were having an open wheel race in it. And I don't know if Toronto is an F1 stop or maybe it was something else, just some random open wheel thing. But that was cool. If you know, it wasn't the purpose of the trip. Otherwise, I would have liked to have maybe seen a little bit of that up close. Where I live, we have a track that NASCAR uses not too far away, a couple hours, I think it is. I know I've been there, but I don't have any memories of it. I was a very small child when I went. But yeah, I enjoy a good car race. I still watch NASCAR from time to time. You know, I gotta watch that. I ended up getting Netflix for the first time in a while. I want to see that F1 show that everybody's been talking about. It looks like there's several seasons. I thought there was only like 2 or 3, but it looked like there was like 5 or 6 of them. All right, got new flywheels, new clutch. Excellent, excellent. All right, we're gonna exit out of this. Let's see what that other event was and if we can interact with it. Yeah, because we can't do any of this featured thing. Yeah, here we go, track day. See, we'll do this if it gives us an interesting car to try around or to mess around with.
Motorsport's greatest names got their start racing modified daily drivers.
Oh, they're just modified daily drivers. Okay.
Fast, these affordable.
Skip this and see what it has to offer. What do we got? Oh, we're not gonna be able to afford any of them. All right, that is what it is. Okay, well, I mean, that's pretty much a pretty decent look at what, you know, the current Forza Motorsport is. I'm going to keep playing it in my personal time. So on the show next week, I'll have some more thoughts about it. But leave a comment down below if you're picking it up, if you've played it, you know, what your thoughts are, and let me know if you're somebody that's really stuck with this series, you know, what's really different with this one compared to the last ones. I want to know. I'm enjoying this so far, but it's definitely, like I said, it's a game to play on mute, to kind of just zone out, chill out, do some races. Maybe, you know, it's a nice late at night type experience. But that's gonna do it for me, everybody. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you again real soon.